when we don't. Yeah. So we're recording today's session, and the recording will be placed on YouTube, so people can turn to it whenever they want to. It'll be a good asset for, particularly when we get the speakers in the upcoming months, as we get them arranged. And just this week, I've been visiting with another speaker who wanted to follow Barbara Handy Marcello, because her stuff will be similar to that, and so we'll be having her come in February or early March, as I understand. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, and I think the recording will be really nice for those that can't make it.
Yep.
I know Joe is not able to make it today, and I'm not sure if Josh will make it either. So it'll be a nice, keep those people updated.
Right. Here's Don Sampson. Good morning, good afternoon, or for you, Don. I guess it is good afternoon, isn't it, Don? How there, Paul Gilgy? Oh, you're traveling, Don, huh? He must not have his voice on yet. Can you hear us, Don? Huh. He doesn't. I'm not getting any comment from him. But we'll see what happens here. And Bernie's coming on.
All right.
Bernie, you're still muted. Hey there, Bernie.
Hi.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
You
Very
too.
nice. Very nice.
Official broadcast part of the Big Sky Cup.
Well, we'll be starting here pretty closely. Got Don Sampson on, and now Arna is connecting. Arna Østebo from Norway. So we've got at least one Norwegian on the line this afternoon. Good afternoon, Arna. I see he's being connected. Don, are you on yet? Have you got your voice? Have you got? I can't hear you. Huh. Arna?
Hello.
Hey, Arna, how you doing, sir? Good to hear your
I'm
voice.
fine.
Thank you.
Hi, Arnie.
Yeah, you're on phone, but not visually today, huh?
Yeah, right now.
We miss your nice looking face. Is that Celie with you there?
Yeah, she's upstairs.
Okay, hi Celie. Yes. Okay, well, we're getting ready to go here. We got Mary. Hi, Mary. Don Sampson.
Yes,
Hi, Mary.
Paul, I'm on the road, hey, Paul, Don Sampson here. I'm just going to listen in because I'm on the road right now.
Okay, sounds good, Don. Thank you very much. Hi, Mary.
Well, hi, how are you?
Pretty good.
Just a minute, I got to get some volume here.
Mary,
There,
how are things in Minot, huh?
pretty good. And then you?
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Just a minute, I want to see if I can get all of you on here. I don't know.
Bernie, you haven't met Mary yet. Mary
Oh,
and
I
you
don't think so.
are cousins, yes.
Hi,
How's your son Paul, Mary? Is he still in Minneapolis?
oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
coming down there in about 2-3 weeks.
Oh, he
Yeah.
is, okay, good.
No, I said I'm coming down there in about 3 weeks.
Oh, you're coming to Minneapolis in about 3 weeks? Okay.
Yep, yeah.
Good.
So how are you guys doing?
We're doing fine, thank you. Thanks for asking. No.
Yeah.
As young whippersnappers, we're raring to go. We don't have to be. No, we're not affected by things as you old folks are.
Yeah, I know, it's tough, isn't it? Yeah.
All right, all right. Susan, hi there, Susan. Susan, you're still oh, Dr. Store. Okay.
I'm not Susan, but I'm just getting on for her. She'll be right
Getting on
here.
for her. Okay.
Hmm.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Great. All right. So we got, now the store is there you're in Washington, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, and Bernie here, Bernie's in Northern California. Yes,
Okay.
okay. And Carolyn is in Bismarck, North Dakota. And
Good.
Mary is in Minot, North Dakota. Chuck is in Billings, Montana. I'm in Apple Valley, Minnesota. Don Sampson is out east in Virginia. Arne Østebo is in Dirdal, Norway. So that's who we got right now. Okay.
Excellent. It's nighttime in Norway, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yes,
How's the weather, Arne? Is it
it has rained a lot the last 2 weeks, and we need it very much.
well, you had a lot of rain. Well, that's good.
Now the energy has gone 10 times as high as last year.
Oh my, okay.
Europe need gas, and the price is going right up.
Okay.
Putin.
Well, I think it is 2:04. I think we're about ready to start here. And let me get us on and we'll be raring to go. We're going to be having a good time this afternoon as we look at this slideshow.
Maybe you should get on.
And I'm wanting to give it to you. You've only got partial screen, don't you? And I was hoping I could get a full screen. Let me just see
Pretty
here.
good size.
Pardon?
It's pretty good size. I got on my computer.
Pretty good size. Okay.
Yeah, good. So
Okay. Well, anyway, let's go back to the start. Today, we're announcing web-related educational seminars on immigration and pioneer life. We want to do this to lead up to a major reunion planned in northern North Dakota in 2026 of the descendants of farmers who immigrated there in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. So that's our objective today. And we will be announcing several seminars over the next several months. And we'll also talk today about the major reunion that was held 50 years ago and plans for the upcoming one in 2026. Our agenda for today, we'll talk about the dates of the initial seminars, the speakers who are confirmed. We will start with the one which is the reasons for your immigration, which is going to be our first one. We'll then talk about additional subjects. We'll visit a little bit about Rolette County's namesake for a little fun. We'll talk about the importance of genealogical information. We'll have some additional relevant documents discussed. Then we'll turn to the Rolette reunion in 1976 with some description for you, as well as a booklet from there that's available for you. That's the part of the agenda. The rest of the agenda will be discussing attendees in 1976, the Westlands Church, and the monument at Westlands that was dedicated, and the time capsule that was placed within that monument. We'll then show another early Rolette area family gathering. We'll talk about our plans for 2026.
Just poured it.
Possible attendees then, and then the committees for that year. And then finally, we'll tell you a little bit about the attractions in Rolette County for people that want to come there. And then mentioning the aspect that we'll be encouraging people to participate in various planning and attendance. So as we get into the agenda, any questions that you might have? Okay, let's get going. Here's our first lineup of upcoming seminars. And you will see here that our first one is going to be Saturday, November 19th, 4 weeks from today at 2 p.m. with Darren Olson, Associate Professor of European and World History at Indiana University. And he's going to talk about the experience of and reasons for Norwegian immigration to America. And Olson has written a very good book called
Just get over it.
Vikings Across the Atlantic, which you can pick up in any bookstore or online. And I have read it, and it's great orientation. But anyway, Olson will be giving us his comments on November 19th, and you'll be able to raise questions with him. Then 2 months later, in January 21, Barbara Handy Marcello, a retired history professor from the University of North Dakota, now living in Bismarck, North Dakota, she will discuss her book, Women of the Northern Plains. And this will be, it is just a darling story of the relationship between the men and the women among the farmers as they settled, and the very key role that the women played at that time. She, in addition to that, she has a very good insight into the immigration itself. Then following Marcello, either in late February or early March, we're not yet clear, Karen Hansen, professor of sociology at Brandeis University out east, Hansen has written a book, Encounter on the Great Plains, which will talk about the relationship between the residents of the Spirit Lake tribe near Devil's Lake and the Norwegian settlers there. She followed that very closely and has written a story about it, or not a story, a real history about it. And so she will cover that for us in early March or late February. So as you can see, Handy Marcello and Hansen will both be telling us about the initial settlement of the pioneers in a part of America, and we'll have some similarities as well elsewhere. Then Saturday, March 18th, John Hudson, a geography professor at Northwestern University in Illinois, who has written a book, Plains Country Towns, and also has written an article for the North Dakota History on the Great Railroad War of 1905, which was highlighted in Rolette County. And some of our ancestors were very close to this, as some of the explorers actually stayed, some of the railroad surveyors stayed at the farms of the pioneers. And this was great competition, great controversy. And some of you will know that there were two towns that located within a half a mile of each other, Rolette and Macomber, as part of this competition. So we'll learn a lot about that then. Then 2 months later in May, we will hear from Les LaFountain, who is a history professor at Turtle Mountain Community College, north of Rolette. The Turtle Mountain Ojibwe Reservation is barely 10 miles north of the city of Rolette and barely 6 miles north of where most of my relatives actually homesteaded. And the land in which they homesteaded had been in Ojibwe control until 3 years before the homesteading began. Then on July 15th, Virgil Benoit, a retired professor of French at the University of North Dakota, will talk about an earlier time which led up to the settlement in North Dakota, northern North Dakota, the French-Canadian fur trade. And Benoit is exceedingly well informed and is a terrific fellow. I've had a chance to meet him face to face. So this is our first 6 meetings scheduled over the next 6 months. As you're listening here, maybe you've got some questions that are arising in your mind that you would like to say would be covered, or some questions you just have. Let's just open it up and see what comments you have.
Oh, I've got something.
Okay, say it. Go ahead.
Now, maybe this is going to be later because we're only through the middle of 23. But these are all good. I mean, I'm probably an easy audience because I'm a history buff. So I could see wanting to know about all these things. But I'm thinking of when you get down specifically to the settlement of Rolette and these families and bringing it down a little more personal, you know, I'm hoping we can, you know, as we move forward, have some of those. I know there's a 90-some-year-old gentleman who hopefully is going to be interviewed while he's still with us, who is one of the oldest descendants of this clan. And anyway, just my 2 cents is to try to get some stories and recollections of those early pioneers that have been passed down to some of the older
Bernie,
members
that's
among
a $20 million suggestion, not a 2-cent suggestion. Bernie is suggesting that we ought to feature the individual families that we are related to, most of us are. And that is exactly what we're going to be doing. And you can be thinking about the kind of information, who's most knowledgeable. For example, in the Moen family, or the Torvald family, or the Tosted family, or the Gilgy family, who today seems most informed about the pioneers, their life. Maybe you have some history your own self. We'll want to bring that out in seminars like this, because as you can see, we'll be 3 years before the beginning of the reunion to cover these. So Bernie's suggestion is well taken. And further, as Bernie mentioned, we have one person, Kenneth Tosta, who is 97, is the only surviving son of the pioneers. And he is in Rugby, North Dakota, and his nieces and nephews are going to be interviewing him soon. And when they do, we will place that on the YouTube, just as we're placing these. And so you'll be able to follow that. So again, thanks, Bernie. Other questions? We'll now move on to the next slide. In addition to the speakers we've had, we have confirmed with Rebecca Leonard, president of the Rolette Historical Society. She's going to speak to us about the history of Rolette County. And then Joe Martinetti and Jeff Epping, both geologists, are going to talk about the Rolette County, how it came to be and its influences on settlement, the geology of the county. And so those two have been confirmed, but we haven't set dates for their sessions with us yet. But if we continue on this every other month plan, you can see that maybe towards the end of 2023 or sometime in 2024, they will be on. So don't hesitate, dear friends, to suggest yourselves additional possibilities. I see Randy Lee is on. Is that right, Randy? Hi there.
Hello.
Welcome. Glad to have you join us. So
Thank
if
you.
you think of anybody further as you're reflecting on this, don't hesitate to send an email whenever you'd like with a suggestion that here's somebody that you might want to consider interviewing. I must tell you, friends, that when we go back to this list of initial speakers, Olson, Handy Marcello, Hanson, John Hudson, Lafon, Benoit, all very notable in their own work, have not asked for $1 of payment. They're doing it out of their good sense for us, and we're really happy for that because we don't have any money to pay them. So in addition then to the topics we've talked about so far, we definitely want to have somebody to lead us in a discussion of Rolette County agriculture and climate from the 1880s to the present day. And there are some very well-informed people in that area that we will be able to contact, including some very large farmers in the Rolette County area who are in our relationship. I'll mention Chuck Tosted and Steve Gilgy as two examples. And another person is Andy Gilgy, who is an insurance agent and is very well informed about the crops and the farms in Rolette County today. A second
Paul?
area, excuse me, go ahead, comment.
Did you mean Andy Beaver?
Yes, what about Andy Beaver?
Well, he's the insurance agent who knows about farming.
Okay, Andy, is this Randy Lee? Say
Yeah.
that again, Randy. Say what you were saying.
I wasn't sure if you meant Andy Gilgy or Andy Beaver.
Well, no, I meant Andy Gilgy. Andy is a real estate agent. Andrew Beaver, we would very much like to meet.
He does crop insurance and owns many acres of farmland.
Okay, well, Andy is a son of who?
He is the son of Dwayne Beaver.
Okay, thank you. Would you send me the connections, the family connections for him? I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank
Well,
you.
you know, Vernon was married to a beaver.
Pardon?
Yeah,
Yes,
Anna taught-
that's right. Yeah.
Beaver.
Mary is your cousin, Randy. Randy Lee is a Beaver family, and Mary's uncle was married. Mary's aunt was a Beaver, Anna.
Yes.
Because Mary's mother
Oh.
Mary's mother was a sister of Vernon Tosted, who married Anna Beaver. That's the connection there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anna was, I believe, a daughter of
Okay.
Melvin.
Pardon?
I think Anna was a daughter of
Paul and
Willie
Paul and Bessie.
Willie Beaver.
Yeah, Willie. Yeah,
Bill Beaver.
Willie. That's right. Mary, daughter of Willie. Yep.
Oh.
Okay. So thanks, Randy, for bringing that up.
And I met Willie years ago.
Oh, you did? Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah, we miss Anna deeply. She was great lady.
Yeah.
Now, a second area that we need to find a speaker on is the religious life of the immigrants and the history of Westland's church. Very significant, the different interests that they have, the different faiths. There were Rolette County was definitely very diverse among its European immigrants. It had a large number of French people who were predominantly Catholic, a large number of Norwegian people who were predominantly Lutheran, and then they all themselves developed other churches. So the interest in what happened there is all fascinating. And in the history of Westland's church specifically, it was an active church for a very short time, only from about 1903 to about 1921. Then half of them went one way and half of them went another way. So there's going to be lots of history there. I might just add for fun that we are still trying to see if we can find something more. Well, I'll hold off telling more about Westland's church till we get to the picture. Then there's the stories of the individual families that Bernie mentioned. And then in addition, now we're looking for other possibilities of subjects that would help provide orientation for us about the lives of the pioneers and what subjects you'd like to have. So don't hesitate to either suggest right now or by email or otherwise names, topics or people that you think would be good. Now we will emphasize again the reasons for European immigration. This returns to our next session, Saturday, November 19th, with Darren Olson, author of Vikings Across the Atlantic. And other background that you might want to follow up on before then is Odd Lovell's The Promise of America, which is widely available. Olaf and Morgan Norley's book, The History of Norway, that's available, by the way, for nothing online. Walter Suzer, however you pronounce that name, his report on Norwegian settlement in North Dakota is available not only online, but on our website, RoletteReunion2026.com. Anybody who wants to see it can do so. The only thing they do require is you sign in as a member, but there's no cost for that or anything else. So if you do that, then you can read that online. Also, you can read online the history of roulette 1905 to 1980 by just going on to roulettereunion2026.com.
You know, there's one other, one of our beaver cousins just came back from Norway and brought back with her a book in Norwegian about the beaver family in both in Norway and as they emigrated to Rolette County and elsewhere.
Is that right? Oh,
Yeah,
somebody's
Mike
gonna somebody's gonna translate it?
Goiseth has a copy.
How's that again, Bernie? Or Randy?
Yeah, that's me.
You have a copy of it?
Mike Goiseth is getting a copy today.
Ah, wonderful. Great. Okay. Keep us informed as how that develops. Okay, then we're gonna, after we, we wanted to share a little bit more with you about the name Rolette County. There's lots of very legitimate history here where we got a cartoon. That cartoon belies the seriousness of Joe Rolette's life. The state capital of Minnesota is in St. Paul, Minnesota, not St. Peter, Minnesota, because of Joe Rolette. Joe Rolette was a fur trader, a leader. He lived for many years in Pembina, and exactly why the North Dakota legislature decided to pick Rolette County as the name, we don't know for sure yet, but maybe we'll find out sometime. So that's one thing we'll be anxious to learn more about. Now, another aspect of getting ready for the 2026 reunion is the whole matter of updating our genealogical information. Some of you, if you don't have it, you can get access to it, can find the most detailed book we had of our families, which is in 1986. And that book is available online at roulettereunion2026.com. And if you would like to put your names into a file that we are now accumulating, go to this website here, Google form available for updating, and fill in that form. Two of our participants, Wanda Hine from Nebraska, from Lincoln, Nebraska, and Joe Ellen Gilgee from Rolette, North Dakota, are themselves now doing what they can to update that data. So you can input that there if you'd like. And then, Randy, we can talk about how we'll relate that to the beaver family as well.
Sure.
So, excuse me, go ahead. Somebody had a comment? Any questions about the updating of the genealogical information?
Paul,
Yeah.
are you saying that form online, I think I filled one out early, is that where you would add your own family members, like, you know, my children and grandchildren and so forth?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. This is probably one of our most difficult areas to to coordinate, because we're trying to arrange two major files are on file in ancestry.com, and we're trying to update those files so that we can then use those as the basis for whatever printing would occur of any book in 2026. We don't know if that's going to happen, but we want to be well prepared. For example, 2 days ago, I went online to those websites and I entered in my two great granddaughters who were just granddaughter and great grandson who were just born 2 days ago. So I added those in there as my own great grandchildren.
Well done.
You're current.
Yes, but boy, it's interesting, Bernie, when I think about my grandfather, my son and daughter, the great grandchildren, their kids are great, and these little ones that just born were great grandchildren of the immigrants. So it doesn't take long.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here and talk about the Rolette reunion in 1976. It took place July 3rd and 4th and honored the memories of the immigrants. There were about 275 in attendance, And the names of the attendees are on that website as well, and including a very large number of beaver families who were not directly in the relationship, but participated anyway in a great numbers. And that was wonderful.
And then when I woke up, about 4:30,
Somebody speaking? Carolyn?
he thought it was time to go,
Who's speaking?
ready for the day.
Who's speaking? Frederica? Who is that?
Yeah.
I think they were talking off screen.
Off screen. Okay, thank you.
And
All right. Now, here's a copy of the bulletin that we used in 1976. You can see that bulletin on the website. It's available right there. Then this is a picture of the people who were in attendance then in 1976. And of course, you can identify me right away, right there. And in front are Andrew and Annie Christensen, the Buchan family. So they're all over the place. It was quite a experience. And these people are all this picture is also on that website, along with an identification of all of those people. So we not only have the picture, you can actually see who they are. Then the monument that was dedicated in 1976, Westland Cemetery, bicentennial year 1976, dedicated by descendants to the pioneers of this area and Reverend L.K.T. Bakken, longtime pastor of Westlands Lutheran Church at this site, July 4th, 1976. God bless America. That's there today, and buried in that is this time capsule here. And the time capsule contains lists of or a variety of comments by people to their descendants, and this will be opened in 2026. People will receive their notes, they'll decide what to do with them, and then we will let others write notes again, and we'll seal it up again for another 50 years. That'll all take place at the reunion in 2026. Here is the church this is Westland's church that was located there. Today, there is no church. There's no buildings at the site of the cemetery, just the graves themselves. And and by the way, the graves are all identified on findagrave.com. So you can see who's buried there easily. And this church was last used in 1934 for the marriage of my mother and father. The church had not been used for many years, but they cleaned it up, and May Tosted and Arnie Gilgee were married in this church. Then in 1940, the church was moved to Dunseith, North Dakota, and it was torn down in about 1979. And we don't exactly know what happened to it, but we're curious what happened to this bell up here. And Randy Lee, you can probably guess why we're interested in that bell, because another bell from another church was thanks to another Beaver gentleman. It is Mike Beaver. That other bell is now on display in another cemetery at Rolette. So could we find this bell? Maybe that would produce some interest in depositing that in some kind of a permanent record here at the church, at the cemetery. We don't know at all.
No.
The cornerstone for this church is in existence and sits right at the entrance to the cemetery. It's encased in concrete. So that's the story. That's the story of the 1976 event. Any comments from any of you? Questions?
Oh, just curiosity, when you showed the slide of the that plaque that has the time capsule, how do you get the time capsule out of that thing?
Well, we'll have to use a chisel and a hammer.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, yeah. It's there are two fiberglass tubes that were a fiberglass tube on one side, this side. It was put together, glued together, and two of those different tubes were then rolled into this, and then the thing was encased in concrete, And all the young children, Bernie, there that day were given a chance to put a little trowel with a little cement on to help seal it if they wanted to. So I have pictures of my kids, and others have pictures of other kids doing that. I suppose some of us are concerned about security. If somebody found out about this, would they grab their chisel and hammer and try to get in there thinking there's something of value? Well, we just have to hope that doesn't happen.
Also hope that when the day comes, we'll be able to open it up okay.
Yeah, right, exactly, yes. And by the way, opening it up, one of the things in there is a cassette tape that Bertina Epping, Jeff Epping's mother, made of a recording of the people at the reunion. And she interviewed us and we all commented, and then she put that tape in there. So we got our fingers crossed that tape will still be worth something 50 years on. If it is, it could be fun to listen to that. So somebody will have to bring along a cassette tape recorder that can play the tape like that. And I assume if they can play it, they'll be able to save it and put it online and elsewhere. Just by way of fun, here's a picture of an earlier Rolette area family gathering with a variety of family members that were present then in 1909. I just threw that in just for fun. Now, the plans for 2026. A specific date has yet to be selected. Most likely be mid-July weekend, Friday to Sunday. We know it will not be the 4th of July weekend. Some people were concerned that the North Dakota State Fair might be occurring in July, and that could offer some concern. So we'll have to see how we get that date selected in the near future. The headquarters will be the city of Rolette. There's going to be a display area for artifacts, photos, booklets, and other memorabilia. So if you have anything yourself that you would like to share with others, photos, or maybe something that a grandmother or great-grandmother brought from Norway, some stuff like that, that would be worthwhile. If you're inclined to want to sample or display Norwegian foods and crafts, we'll make that possible too. Maybe somebody would be motivated to put up a lefse stand. I personally make about 5 or 6 orders of lefse every year myself, but I don't know if we want to have all the potatoes and stuff there. But that's just my off the cuff comment. There'll be a picnic just as there was 50 years ago, and that picnic probably will be at the International Peace Garden, which is about 20 miles outside of Rolette. A golf tournament. One of our family members is a professional golfer. Opening of the time capsule at Westland Cemetery, the refilling and the resealing. That's not going to be quite as simple as we wonder. We start thinking about it, and we think, well, should we open it up on an evening, and if it's windy, the thing will blow all over the place. So we're wondering if maybe we could perhaps schedule an early time of taking it out of the monument and then opening up those 2 cylinders in an indoor place and passing them around, and then having people write whatever they want to and have those assembled, and then bring them back out to the church, maybe on the Sunday when they hold a worship service there. So we've got to work the details out of that. There'll be an evening program, probably in a church or a Legion Hall. We want to have tours of the immigrant farms so that Susan, you could go back to Torvald's place and look at it. Bernie, you could go back to T.K. Bakken's place. Randy, you could go back to Andrew Beaver's place, and we could take a look at. You could see what's there today. There is still at least one good-sized farm home that was built in the early 1900s that's still available. Then we would let you go to a variety of other places there's the Turtle Mountain Heritage Center, which is located at a casino just 7 miles north of Rolette. The casino's got a big hotel. That could well be where most of the people decide to stay during the weekend because it's close. And I've been there a couple times and the price is not overly expensive. And then there's the Rolette County Historical Society located up in the northeast corner of the county and other sites. So that's what the plans are right now. Anybody have some thoughts as to what you'd like to think about maybe having?
That seems pretty comprehensive.
Thanks, Randy. But I think we ought to be free to come up with ideas over the next 3 years. So whatever people occurs to them.
Well, just as a reminder about the installation of the new headstone.
Yes, why don't you tell the other folks about that, Randy? Because I haven't shared that with these people.
Okay, sure. Well, coming from the Beaver side, a lot of the graves in there, that particular cemetery are Beaver family graves. And the founding mother, as it were, Garina Beaver, was my great-great-grandmother. And her grave is there, but it's kind of tucked behind a tree that's grown up there. And it really doesn't have a proper name on it. It simply says mother. So my thought was to add to that by having a more substantial headstone, which would provide more information about Mother Beaver. Anyway, and so I'm trying to float that around to other Beaver relatives and see if they want to help organize that process. And our goal is to have that installation done in conjunction with this reunion, perhaps the opening or the closing, something, because it'll be at the same exact cemetery. So I've spoken with Andrew Beaver, Cordell Beaver, and Michael Beaver, and some others, Roger Beaver. Anyway, a number of those folks to try and stimulate some interest, and Mike Oiseth as well. And so I had gotten some interest in that. As Paul, you mentioned, Michael did a lot of work on the other cemetery, installing that bell there and some documentation of that. So he had some information that he was going to share about getting a headstone and what the process and the price would be and all that stuff. Anyway, just wanted to share that. I'm hoping to have that sort of unveiling in conjunction with this event.
Great. By the way, Randy, as you heard mentioned in passing, his cousin Michael Beaver arranged to have the bell from the old Presbyterian church in Rolette taken and placed in a very impressive monument at the Rolette City Cemetery, located just north of Rolette itself. That's a very impressive place. Thank you. Other suggestions of ideas or comments on the plans for the 2026 reunion? Let's then share a little bit who might be attending. These are the various families that we've had connection with so far, but this is not an exclusive list. This is a opening list because there are other people with more distant relatives. Bernie, I haven't told you this, but a woman who is related to Britta Fiskegen, a descendant of Britta's sister, lives in the Minot area and is very interested in the reunion, and she was going to be on with us today and couldn't make it. So it's fascinating to see the larger families that want to be part of it. And we're not going to be exclusive at all. This is going to be a great time to remember and honor the immigrants, and we're going to be nothing exclusive about it. Comments about the possible attendees?
Well, I would imagine we'll probably be adding quite a number of Beavers to that list as well.
Yeah, I would think so. We got Andrew and Anna right there, and yeah. So
well, yeah, there's also Andrew and Pat Beaver.
Yes, right. Yeah, Well, this is just the
Sure.
one pioneer family that we list. We
Oh,
don't
right,
list-
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Invitations from those. Yes.
Pardon? Pardon?
Yes, I see now how you
Yeah,
described it.
yeah. Okay, all right. Now then, we have gotten a number of committees that have been set up for the reunion. Mark and Caroline Gilgee are in charge of setting up advanced tours of family sites in Norway. Exactly how that's going to occur is not clear. One way, of course, is simply people make their own plans. Another is whether there would be a desire to have an organized tour. If there is a desire, Mark would be a coordinator of an organized tour of Norway. Ancestry update, Wanda Hine is heading that up. Website management is in charge, is Josh Martinetti, and he's doing a great job for us there. Finance, Martha Murphy, a relative of Jeff Eppings. Erin Kane, she is involved in the evening program. Lodging, Carla Myrie Voigt, Mark Myrie, and Jay Myrie are all head of that. They all, Mark and Judy Myrie is Jay Myrie's wife. Mark Myrie and Jay Myrie are head of the bank in Rolette. Carla is their sister, and she lives in Buffalo, Minnesota. And then tours of the ancestral farms. James Gilgee, who now lives on the Enoch Gilgee homestead, will be the person in charge of seeing that we'll have the tours. Exactly how they're going to occur, we don't know yet. That's details that'll be worked out. Children's activities, Christina Epping. The golf tournament, Jay Myrie is the co-chair, and we spelled his name wrong here. And Jay's son is the professional golfer. Then there'll be mini reunions as well. That is, we're thinking that just even though you and the people that you know are part of a more narrower family, they're going to want to get together and visit with them. So we'll have a time set aside when people can hold their individual reunions. Photography going to be a big deal. Leslie Ostrom's a commercial photographer. She's going to be leading us there. Carolyn is in charge of the preparation and the printing of the reunion materials. The publicity, social media, Brian Griffith. A recipe exchange, Jordan Martinetti is involved in that. Special recognition for visitors from Norway, Chuck and Frederica Gilgee will be in that. We want to give whatever visitors we have a great deal of attention at that time. Then the Sunday worship, Sue Storer and Don Sampson will be in charge of that. The time capsule reopening, Steve Gilgee, who is currently the head of the cemetery at Westlands, taking care of it. He's going to be in charge of all the details of that. Bernie, our dear friend Bernie, who's here today, Bernie is in charge of welcoming. Then traffic management, we don't yet know what that's going to be like, but we can expect it will be tough. Andy Epic and Brent Christensen. Displays of reunion family history related materials, Chuck and Frederica Gilgee. That will be important. We talked about that earlier. Then the food for the picnic, Carla Myrie Voigt in charge of that. And then the online seminars, Bernie is working with me on that. So that's the current committee setup. Anybody got any questions or comments on that?
Well, if you want to, at some point, to add the piece about the new headstone, if you wanted to make that a committee, I'd be happy to.
Randy Lee, yes, I'll do that, Randy. I'll get that on. Thank you. Okay, then finally, the Rolette County attractions today. If you're curious about what Rolette County is like, there's a nice website listed right here that you can turn to. Oh, by the way, today's, I think we have sent you all already a copy of the spread of the PowerPoint, haven't we? I thought we included it in the original notification. If you need a copy again, please let me know and I'll send you another one. And so that's a good thing, tell you about what's going on. And then it covers Botno and Rugby as well as Rolette and Turtle Mountains. And finally, we welcome your participation, your suggestions, your volunteering, planning, and your attendance. And we have Jeff's, Bernie's, and my emails and phone numbers listed there.
Just a quick question on the, on this presentation. Is this actively a link online that gets updated, or do you just send out one copy?
Thank you. It is not. It could be. I'll send a copy to Josh and have him put it on the website as well. Josh is going to put today's session is being recorded, so it'll be seen on the video as well. If you go to YouTube, you'll be able to see what we're seeing here. But I see too, Randy, that it might be cut off partially because the pictures would show up as well. So I'll talk to Randy, I'll talk to Josh and ask him to put the PowerPoint on as it is right now. That will work fine.
Did you touch that? It'll just show.
Okay, comments and questions, concerns?
If I press, yeah, okay.
Sue, did you have a comment?
Fantastic job, Paul.
Mhm.
Thank you. Sue, did you have a comment?
No, I was talking with my daughter-in-law. I'm sorry, she was asking a question.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Further comments? Anything? Arna, in Norway?
Looks very good. Looks very interesting. The people you have there for the history.
Thank you, Arna. Well,
Yeah.
we think
Try
it's,
to,
yeah, I appreciate your comments and by the way, Arna, in matters of the history, if there are people at Gilja and Deerdal or other places who I would think they need to speak English, but that shouldn't be a problem. If they have some history they'd like to share, we would be delighted to put that on as one of our seminars.
Mhm.
I think of Odvin Vian, for example, and if Odvin were to take pictures of the things that he has, that could be a fascinating orientation to at least one part of the family histories from Deerdal, which is just outside of Stavanger. That could be really well done. In fact, you see Odvin all the time. Tell him I mentioned that today, that could be a great session for us.
I will. Mhm.
Okay, good. Any other comments? Mary, any thoughts that you have?
Nope, just kind of interesting.
Okay, Carolyn? Carolyn, anything from you?
No, nothing specific. I think
Okay.
this looks really good. Thank you for
Thank
all
you.
the work you've done.
Chuck and Frederica Gilgy, anything about the artifacts and stuff that you'd like to share?
No, nothing, Paul. Frederick and I both say excellent job. Keep it up.
Okay, thanks. Don Sampson, you have any thoughts?
What?
Don has been driving. so-
Yes, I'm just heading for the airport. Thanks for all you're doing.
Thank you. Thanks, Don.
Mhm.
Okay, anybody else that we might have missed? Any thoughts?
Just one last comment, Paul. Sorry.
That's
There
okay.
is also that contact in Kongsberg, Norway, who has a co-authored book on beaver family. Is somebody who has given some tours and things of to local family members visiting of that area in Norway. She might be possibly somebody who could be of interest.
Okay, check that out. If we would love to have we could set aside a session to talk about where the beavers came from in Norway. That'd be excellent.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, well, I think we're about ready to say goodbye. So thank you for this afternoon. Appreciate it all. And remember, we've got the major session coming up in, let's go back and remember the date here. On Saturday, November 19th at 2 p.m., Darren Olson on the whole experience and reasons for Norwegian immigration to America. So thank you very much. Have a good day. We'll see you
One
all.
question, Paul.
Thank
One
you
question.
all. Bye.
Bye.
I had a question.